you'll be joining your petal color here in the stitch where you joined, and then you'll chain 5, 3, 4, 5, and then you'll skip 1 stitch and double crochet into the next stitch, and then chain 3, skip 1 stitch and then double, chain 3, and you'll repeat that pattern the whole way around the circle. And after you do the final double crochet, you'll chain 3 and then join to the second chain of the beginning chain 5, and then that goes on hold, so I just use a stitch marker to keep it where it belongs. And then you're going to take your main square color and join it. So here's where you began. Here's the final stitch of round 3. That's where you'll be joining it at. Alright. And now you're working over the top of round 4 here, the petal color. So you're gonna, your loop and your working yarn is in the front of your work right now. So stick your hook behind the petal color in round 4, pull up a loop, and then draw it through, and that's your first chain, and then chain 4 more. So 5 total. So you'll have 5 on the 5 in your chain for your main color too. And then you're going to go into the next empty stitch here. Make sure you go over the top of the chain 3 from the previous round, double crochet, and chain 3, over round 4 into round 3, chain 3, and then into the empty stitch over the top of round 4, chain 3, and repeat that around. And then once you've done the final double crochet, you'll chain 3 just like you did in the previous round, and then attach to your second chain, so it'll be the one above the previous round. You'll just join it there, pull it tight, and then that one will go on hold, and you're going to be picking up your petal color. Alright, so you're picking up the yarn you had on hold from round 4, and now you're chaining over the top of the chain from round 5 again. Chain 2, and now you'll yarn over, and do the first couple steps of a double crochet twice there. You get that cluster, and then you're chaining 4 here, and you're going into the top of the double crochet over the top of the chain. 1, 2, 3, pull through, and then chain 4. You work over the tops of the chains in each round, so that way the whole flower is reversible. So that way the entire blanket will be reversible. Alright, and then you do 1, 2, 3, and then pull through all 4, and you'll repeat that all the way around. Once you've completed your last one, you chain 4, and then join into the top of the first cluster, and then you're going to continue working with this color. It'll look like this. Now you leave this color on hold, and you continue working with this color. You chain 2 and single crochet in that same stitch. Now you're going to chain 1, and then there are 4 chains in each chain, but one is kind of on the other side of the cluster, so then you've got 1, 2, 3. So I just slip stitch into this one. Don't pull it tight, just leave it loose like this, and then 2 single crochets in the next the top of the next cluster, and then you'll chain 1, slip stitch, don't pull tight, chain 1 again, and then 2 single crochets. Alright, we'll do it one more time. So after the 2 single crochets here at the top of the cluster from the previous round, you chain 1, slip stitch into the chain, not around, into, because it helps keep things where they're supposed to be without sliding around, and then chain 1 after that, and then 2 single crochets into the top of the next cluster. And so you repeat that all the way around. Once you reach the last one, you're going to finish up with the chain 1, slip, chain 1, and then you're going to join into the second chain of the beginning chain 2. And then you'll tie that color off. And it will look like that right now. The edges will curl up a little bit because the flower gets to be kind of 3D once you add some of the other rounds, so that's okay. It's normal for right now. And now you're going to be picking up this color. And so your working yarn should be in the back of your work now, and your loop is in the front. And so you're going to chain 1 over the top of both of the previous rounds. So it will look like this. Again, so it's reversible. And then you're going to chain 1 more after you chain 1 around there. And then you are going to be making clusters again. So it'll be 2 in the first one again with the chain. And you draw through, and then you can adjust these as you go or just do it at the end, but that it will lay flat in here. The best thing for this round is not to do it too tight around the chain, so that way you can adjust it. And then you're going to be chaining 4, and then go into the top of the next double crochet over the chains, and then you're going to be going 1, 2, 3, and then pull through all. Adjust if you want to. You can start seeing the way the petals go. Chain 4 into the next top of the double crochet. There's your next cluster, and then chain 4, and you'll be continuing that all the way around. Once you've worked your final cluster and chained 4, you will join to the top of the first cluster again, just like that. Now you can see the flower petals poof out just a little bit now that you have some of the other rows done. And now for the next row, you're going to chain 1 and then slip stitch into this next chain space, and then you'll chain 3 for your first double crochet, and then you're going to triple crochet, chain 2, triple crochet, and then double crochet in that first chain space. And that's going to be your first corner. Chain 1, and then you're going to put 3 half doubles in this next chain 3 space. Chain 2, 3 half doubles in the next one. Chain 1, and then you're going to do another corner, so you'll double crochet, triple, chain 2, triple, double, chain 1, and then there's your first side complete. And then you're going to continue following that pattern all the way around. Once you work the final 3 half double crochets in the final chain space, you'll chain 1, and then you're going to join to the 3rd chain of the beginning chain 3. It won't lay super flat right now, but you can kind of see the corners. This next row will help define the edges a little bit more. Alright, and then for this next row, you're gonna chain 1, and then I like to just slip stitch into this part in the back, and it gets you over to the chain 2 space on the corner, which is where we want to be. And then you're gonna chain 2 this time, and then your next stitch is a double crochet, chain 2, double crochet, half double crochet, and there's your first corner again. And then you're going to chain 1, 3 half doubles in this first chain space, 1, 2, 3, whoops, don't do that. Nope. There we go. Only dropped 1. Alright. So there's 3, and then you're going to chain 2, and then in the next chain space you're going to put 3 single crochets, chain 2, and then in this chain space right before the next corner you're going to put 3 half double crochets, 2, 3, chain 1 before the corner, and then for the corner you're going to go a half double, double, chain 2, double, half double, chain 1, and there's your first side done. You can see it's laying flatter now and it looks like a square, and you'll just continue that all the way around. Once you've got all the way around, you'll work the final 3 half double crochets in the last chain space. chain 1, and then you're going to join to the second chain of the beginning chain 2. And now you're going to tie that color off. Pull it through. And now you'll be joining another color. I use the same color as the center for all of the outsides of mine in one of the corners with a slip stitch. And then you're going to chain 1 loosely so you can get your hook into it later, and then single crochet, chain 2, and then 2 single crochets for the first corner. And then you're going to skip this one and go into this one, single crochet, and then 2 in the next chain space, and then there's 2 stitches right here. You're going to go into those 2, 2 in the next chain space, skip this one, into the next 2 single, into the tops of the next 2 single crochets, and then you're going to be putting 2 in the next chain space, skip this one, and then 2 in the tops of those half doubles, 2 in the chain space, and you skip this one here that's kind of hidden underneath, and then go into that one, and then you're back at the next corner. You'll do 2 single crochets, chain 2, 2 single crochets. So there's one side completed, and it should lay pretty flat now. And so I'll show you placement on the single crochets one more time. So you're going to be skipping this one, going into that one, 1 single crochet, 2 in the chain space, skip this one, 2 in the tops of the next half double crochets, 2 in the next chain space, skip 1, 2 in the tops of the next 2 single crochets, 2 in that chain space, skip 1, 2 in those half double crochets, and then you'll have 2 in the next chain space, skip this one, and then the stitch right before the corner, and then you're going to do 2 single crochets, chain 2, and 2 single crochet for the next corner, and then you'll just repeat that pattern all the way around. Once you get all the way around, I'm going to work the final single crochet in the last stitch, and then you're going to join into the chain 1 that you did at the beginning of the round, and then tie off, and you've got a finished square. Here's another one that I have the ends all sewn in on already. Not blocked, so the edges are a little bit curly, but I think it would take me the rest of my life to block 36 of these, so we're just going to sew them together and wash it, and it'll be good. So here's the back side. So as you can see, it's the same pattern on the back side, and so it's totally reversible, which is really nice. And there you go. how to make a epic daisy square.